Welcome back to Index Card a Day 2017. Me, Creative Katie. This is card 44 and I'm on prompt. It's denim and or blue. I've called this one I'm Walking My Own Path. Links to special materials used in the making of this card can be found in the description box below. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and select the option to be notified when a new video comes out. So I thought automatically to my Afternoon Delight Denim Lindy Starburst spray. I love this. I used it to create this that I did on a technique tag video where I used this crinkle paper to create texture. And I'll put a link to that video so you can look into all the information that's there. So I'm just going to cut a chunk of this off. And I'm doing it a little bit bigger than what my card is because I want to build that texture. I don't want it stretched straight. So I just grab a plain card and I'm just cutting off the corners, and I'm going to use that instead of the cleanup one. I'll save that for another project. Now this time I'm going to use gesso to adhere this down, and my reason for this was to get kind of that chalky finish, and I think this is different gesso than I used on that last one. Spoiler alert, it doesn't quite get as chalky as the other one. So I just put that on quite thickly and press the paper into that. And I want to build up the textures and the bumps and the lines. This paper gives kind of unique texture that you don't get from crinkling tissue paper or anything else. It's very linear. So when I'm adding the gesso with layers of this paper, it gets quite damp, and you do need to take the time to wet it down properly or dry it properly. So once it's dry, or partially dry, I'm going to just give this a trim, get rid of the excess. And you can save these little bits because they would look lovely, just the little bits on a full page. So while that's drying more, I'm getting into my quote binder, and I'm cutting out a variety of quotes. I'm not really sure where I want to go here. So this is Afternoon Delight Denim. And I can't remember the purple teal one. And I just want a little bit of that violet color in there because I like how the colors go together, and that will just give me a little bit more interest than if it was one color. Now the Afternoon Delight Denim Starburst is one of my absolute favorite colors, and it has a teal shimmer to it. So it's got the denim color, and then it has that teal. And the teal, you can see in real life, catches in all those nooks and crannies, which is why I chose to use it with a background that I've really texturized. You can kind of see that little bits of shimmer. So I'm just building up the color and drawing in between. And if I've learned anything about the Starburst sprays, is you just need to take the time. A little bit of water, a little bit of drying, a little bit more color, and just play with it. Now the Starbursts are water activated, So I don't think they'll ever be completely permanent. I'm not sure what the actual selling point is, but I have found that they do move a little bit. They're not, you have a little bit of leeway there. If you're very gentle, you can add a little bit of moisture if you're gluing stuff down without disturbing it. I was going for kind of a brushed denim, worn denim kind of look color for this background. So then I decide I'm going to just edge it a little bit. This is just some cut and dry foam. I'm just edging it with black. Then I decide I'm going to use this metallic, it's actually cobalt blue. It's an Artist Loft brand, but it's teal color to me. And that looks better. But often I do put a lighter color and then another color on top, or a darker color and another color on top. So we're over there, and now I could, for my focal point, go across and have a complementary color scheme, or stay in the neighboring ones. And that's what I pretty much decided to do. So I stamped out my Prima doll, and you'll see me doing that in a minute. I decided to do 2 dolls in 2 different outfits, and then see which one I really like on the background. I'm visual. I need to see it. So sometimes that means I make 2 focal points, or select from 2 focal points, and then I choose which one looks best. So these are just bits and bobs of jelly prints that I have, and the Prima doll I stamped onto the an old dictionary page. I could do that onto white paper. I could do it on music paper, you know, whatever you want. So here's the other jelly print that I have, and it's just, you know, I love the colors here. It's kind of faded denim. So I'm just kind of cutting it out, and now I'm trying to find some matching or coordinating pieces for the headband, for the extra frill, for the bodice, and just stamping those onto this paper. Now this paper, I'm not sure if it's actually mulberry paper, but it's mulberry paper like. Not sure how it found its way into my stash. So playing with that. And so I'm going to color the Prima doll, and, you know, using my Neocolor 2s. These, if you haven't seen them, they're extremely highly pigmented. They are, you know, more expensive, but they are very high quality and highly pigmented. So I like using them. Here I'm using the orange, and I'm putting the white on top, and I'm hoping that that's going to give me the right color skin tone. And it doesn't look bad here, but in real life it was way too yellowy, orangey. It wasn't what I was going for. So I ended up getting my Inktense blocks out and using the willow color to get more the color I wanted. I stamped the girl with Prima, or with Stays On, which is permanent. So whichever girl I don't end up using will end up in the stash, and she'll find her way onto some other card at some point in time. Just adding white to just kind of mute that a little bit. Still not quite the color I want. And I'm not sure, like I said, the StazOn ink in the blue should not, it should be permanent, but I'm getting some blue in there. So I'm thinking, do I have a dirty brush, or is it, is it not dry? Because you can see here, it definitely got some blue in it. So that's why I'm looking, I'm thinking, yeah, this is my StazOn, like what's going on? What I could have done there is just painted it with some white gesso and gone over it, but I just add a couple more layers of paint. And then I add some brown for some low lights, basically to cover up what was looking blue. Now I'm doing paper piecing for the dress and for the bandana and everything, but you could totally color them as well if that's what you want to do. And I'm just using my gel medium there. So this is where you have these little pieces. So it's great to have all sorts of, your little bits of jelly prints that you have, or colored paper, or brayered paper, what have you. So I put on the dress here out of that lovely print, and I'm torn about whether I want to cover it up or not. And now I'm thinking, okay, which one do I want? So I do my usual. After I've cut it out, I try one and I try the other. And I take pictures of both of them. And I, try to put the words where I want them. So here's the one, and I really like how the little bit of violet that's in the dress matches. And here's a lighter look. Both would work wonderfully well. So I play a little bit more with the words. And here, notice how I'm putting the words, I've got some going horizontally, and then I put the other one vertically. All the words don't have to go horizontally on the page. You do have options. So I'm inking the outside with the blue StazOn that I have right there. And I attempt to do the girl, but I end up making more of a mess than anything. And I'm putting the gel medium onto the back of what I'm gluing down because I don't want to mess up any of the Lindy Starbursts. I also don't want to lose any of the shimmer by putting on a matte finish. Putting a little more of the dark blue around the edge. Looking at it while it's drying, I decide that I want to do some shading on the dress and on the girl to make it stand out. But I don't want to put anything onto the background because it will reactivate. So here I'm still not happy with the hair, so I come in with my Distress crayon, and that gives it a little bit more yellow. So I'm taking the Stabilo All pencil and I'm on top of the jelly print. I'm not beside it like I would be if I was floating and the background wasn't, going to be reactivated. But I'm on there. I'm being very careful not to get any water touching the background. I love that background. I don't want to mess it up. So I'm just adding some lines. Alternatively, you can take a Sharpie marker and just outline it. They'll give a slightly different look, but lovely all the same. And here is the finished card. And once again, I forgot to take pictures of just the background. So you can kind of see, I've got some close-ups. You can see all the wonderful texture there. That little bit of violet that matches what was in the dress. So if you have something that's in the focal point and you want that color, you need it somewhere in the background, even if it's just a very slight application of it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you for the next index card.